give it all to you, baby. Swear to God.
Hi, and welcome back to the Millennial Wives podcast. We took a long hiatus because I've been very sick, but I'm back and I'm trying to get back to normal. So I got my girl Jessica Rabbit here, and we are so glad to join you guys once again with our topics for discussion today. One of which we're going to start off with the soft life. And you got anything to say about that, Jessica Rabbit? First, I'm going to tell you guys the definition of it. Here it is. Living a soft life begins with putting yourself first and prioritizing your peace, saying no and sticking to your word. And if you need a night at home, it's important to listen to what your body needs, set healthy boundaries, and honor your time. So, is the soft life possible for a married woman with children? What do you think?
Not on a middle class or lower middle class level. I think you don't have money for a nanny or a living nanny, full-time babysitter. So, I mean, you're now the caretaker, and a lot of women can't even afford to stay home. So you're out in the workforce and your child's going to daycare or a babysitter. You come home, you got to cook, clean. You can't really put yourself first. You put the kids first, your husband, then yourself. I mean, when the whole house is sick, you're taking care of everyone else. And then you get done last.
Right. I don't think it's possible either. I agree with you. I mean, there's some parts of the soft life that you can try to add into your own, like your own definition, but overall, I think somebody's going to you're going to diminish your, being a good mom or being a good wife if you just determine to live the soft life. And I don't see it being possible.
I don't either. I know some people that do have nannies and they are like the minimalist of a mom. They're not hands-on really with the nanny. The nanny's a lot with the kids, and then they do whatever they want.
Hmm.
And but some mothers can't do that. Some mothers can't not give that. What was it? I think we talked about that before. That like that what 3 or 6 hour limit moms, and then I guess they can have that time to themselves. And I just never could. I mean, you can't go to the bathroom by yourself without
I
somebody coming.
know. It's like if you think you're going to live this soft life, you might have a rude awakening because it ain't happening.
No, 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 no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
sometimes I set my boundaries and I'm like, today I'm going to put me first. Nobody's going to get my full attention because I'm focused on what I got to do. And I'm going to prioritize whatever I set in my schedule. And it always ends up being some kind of alteration at some point. It never like goes 100% according to plan.
No.
So I know I had like several side hustles I tried to do. For one is my makeup sales, Mary Kay. And I had some goals I wanted to reach. I wanted to try to make it to a different level in the business. And so I know I was going to have to set my goal and, kind of like prioritize what I was trying to do for a certain time period. Oh my God. You talking about reorganizing? I had to reorganize everything every day, even though I plan on, okay, 6 o'clock, I'm going to be in this meeting. I'm going to be listening to this. Okay, kids still coming in, ready to eat. You might set stuff out for them. They don't want it. They want to change the plan. Husband, his business needs. You got to try to alter around whatever happened at work that day. The stresses. I don't feel like doing that. Can you help? It just never works. So,
No, I
I
agree with you.
mean, I would love to say, and I could live the soft life. And I kind of like envy those who can.
Yeah, I mean, even being a stay-at-home mom, I don't think it's like a soft life because I can never really do what I want to do.
Right.
It's like I have to make sure I get everything done for the house and then maybe some time for yourself. I mean, I haven't gotten a pedicure or a manicure or my nails done since God, when, like, 2022, and that was like the beginning of 2022. I think the last time I went was maybe around Mother's Day or something like that. So I don't get to do that. They think, I guess they think stay-at-home moms, oh, you get the soft life. You can do whatever you want to do. And no, I'm like, not really. Yesterday, it was funny. I was in Walmart just walking around, and then my husband's like, what time are you gonna go home? I'm like, oh, I'll be here for a while. And he was like, it's almost 3 o'clock. I'm like, oh, I am late. So I'm like, even then, just trying to walk around and get out the house to go to Walmart and get a minute to yourself, it still now threw me off track. Or even trying to get dinner done at a certain time.
Some
Like,
people think like stay at home means a woman of leisure.
far from
And
it.
it's like it's so many different models to that whole deal. Like it just I know when I stayed at home, it was just convenient for the time being, but it didn't mean that we had like the resources to just ball out. We had to
Yes.
kind of like make sure we prioritize and budget it right so this thing will work.
No, you're right. You're right. It's not. That doesn't mean like you said, he has all this money coming in
Hmm.
and buku money, and you guys are just, you can lay at home all day, take baths, and eat and do whatever you want, and somebody comes in and cleans your home and takes care of the
Hmm.
kids. If it was that simple for me, I would love it, but it's not. So I mean,
And you got to take into consideration the feelings of your spouse because
yes.
if you're at home all day, even though you working, they don't necessarily have the same kind of work day that you have all the time. Some
Mm-hmm.
days may be harder on him, some days may be harder on you. But it's a lot of compromise in there. If one spouse stays at home, you got to like kind of pick up the pieces when that other
Mm-hmm.
person has a hard day. You got to really listen and communicate when they come in and try to make accommodations for whatever's needed so they can get back out there and fight for the family in the workplace because it's
Yes,
not easy.
it's not. And then for the ones that are home, like when school's out, I think that's the hardest. School is out and um, breaks, because we're there with the kids now 24/7, whereas they get the clock in and clock out. You're there, and it's like it's never ending. It never ends
Right.
until that last day, and then like, okay, they can go back off to school. So now you're dealing with that time and time. So when they come home, it's like, okay, now I got to entertain you as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I have no time to do nothing. Like, oh, you're in the same outfit I left in. Well, you can I really didn't have time to do anything, because from the time I woke up, 10, 15 minutes later, you hear the kids up and running. It's like, okay, I need breakfast. I need this. I want that. The kids think that you're a maid, a
Mm-hmm.
chef, chauffeur, and you're supposed to be the entertainment for them as well. So it's like, I'm wearing all these hats and I don't get a break. So the women that don't get to live the soft life, I understand why some of those women break down at times.
Right. Yeah, I was talking to my daughter about this earlier. She's like leaving her food out when she finished eating, like she's at a restaurant. I'm like, okay, when you're at a restaurant, who cleans up after you? And she's like, oh, yeah, that's right. We don't have a waitress or a waiter.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, so who is your waiter at home? And she's like, I guess it'd be me or you. And I said, well, you think mommy wants to be that and be mommy? That's a lot on my plate. And so she kind of gets it. You have to break it down for them.
Yes.
It's a challenge. It's no soft life involved. It's
Mm.
like constantly on and never off. So,
Yes. Yes. Because in the middle of the night, when it gets that cooler, they wake up us.
right.
And who has to stay up to make sure they're
It's
okay?
not to say boo hoo. I saw a lot of comments on something I was reading, like men saying, like, okay, boo hoo, you had these kids, you had this, it's your choice. But I realize it's our choice, but that don't mean that we need to be, just totally unappreciated in the whole thing. We need appreciation, we need consideration, we need boundaries, and just love for one another.
Yes. I ain't end up in upstairs by myself, buddy.
That's what I'm saying. So we could say the same thing, for them. Like, we didn't pick the job, we didn't pick
Yeah.
the
Boo-hoo.
situation.
Yes. Boo-hoo, you gotta go to work. Boo-hoo, you gotta pay bills.
And I
It's
appreciate it now. I'm not gonna say
yes.
I don't appreciate it. I appreciate all that, my spouse does,
Yes.
everything. Because I know it ain't easy. And now that I work, I really see it's stressful. It's very
It,
stressful.
it is because now you have to deal with the stresses of work and then come home and still have to do your job. And then sometimes your job has to come home with you. So you're trying to cook and clean and get the kids ready and then do your job and be proficient. Yes, I think so too. It's hard. People do take advantage and they try,
Mhm.
especially when you're new. They want to see how far they can push it. They're like toddlers. They want to see how far they can push you to get you to do what they want you to do. And then
Right.
when you finally break, they're like, no, 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 don't quit. Don't do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, but you can't keep pushing you to the edge. And I mean, I think that's in life with at home or in the office. Here comes somebody. Kaylee, I'm doing this. You gotta go, baby. I'm doing the podcast.
Okay.
Okay, babe?
Okay.
All right, close the door.
What's in it?
In a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
There goes a soft life.
Yes.
Perfect example.
When's dinner?
Yeah. But you just have to fit it in when you can. You can do portions of it, but you can't just do 100% soft life, then 100% mom, 100% wife, 100%. It's going to have to be a compromise in some area. And sometimes the compromise is your kids. So you don't want
Yeah.
them to have to compromise their mental
I think
health or anything.
when they get a little bit older, I think
Hmm.
you can then, it's like, okay, you can take a moment to woosah and say, okay, I'm going to take a bath, or if there's a nail salon right up the street, I'm going to go right around the corner to the nail salon. I'll be gone for an hour or two.
Hmm.
Mommy, be right back. Take
Right.
care of your younger siblings. I think then you can start incorporating some of the soft life. But until you get to that moment, it's like stressful.
You got to know their personalities too. You got the older kids, they could get a little manipulative. So, like I had one today, he wanted to stay home. He wanted to have him a day. And he said he was feeling sick. And then all of a sudden it turned into this is a phone date and this is a TV day. And then now it turned
Mhm.
to, okay, my school's on the news. I think it's going to be another added day off. And I got to go research and find out if that's the truth. So,
Oh my gosh. Oh, I had one the last couple of weeks. Mom was doing that. Remember, she was one day, she
yeah.
doesn't feel good. Oh, I threw up and threw up again. And it's like, oh, can I stay home one day? And I'm like, okay, okay. Like, and it's like, okay, are you doing this on purpose? But then she's at the hee hee ha ha in her room. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, you really sound sick, don't you?
Hmm. They live in the soft life. That's it.
Yes, they have no real chores, no responsibilities, stuff that we had to do at their age. They have the soft life. It's
Yeah.
like the roles are reversing. They get the
Hmm.
soft life, we don't.
And then they try to call you a bad parent, but honestly, they got it really easy compared
They
to
do.
a lot of things that we dealt with growing up. They got it really easy.
Yes.
So,
Yes. It wouldn't be when it's dinner. I would be cooking dinner, or you know,
hmm,
self-sufficient. It wouldn't the star said the stuff that our kids get away with, or the advantages that they have. I would have loved to have that as a kid.
hmm,
We
yeah.
weren't given
Some
that
kids get to eat
opportunity.
out all week. They don't even have to, eat leftovers and
Oh, that's the other thing. My kids don't want leftovers. Like, I'm
oh, mine
supposed to
either.
cook every day. Like, am I like this celebrity chef that's supposed to come in here and cook for you a new meal every day?
Hmm. Basically.
because
Yeah,
I
and if they
wasn't that
don't
way.
like something, they feel like, you should just replace it immediately. They're not gonna sacrifice their taste for your money and your budget. No.
I made with Italian lasagna. What was it? The lasagna soup last Friday, Thursday.
Oh
So I made
yeah.
a big enough pot for Thursday and Friday. Try to give myself a day off. I can't believe you made that much. You're trying to get out of cooking tomorrow, aren't you? I'm
The
like,
lasagna soup is from TikTok, y'all, if you don't know.
yes, it's really good. I call it the adult Chef Boyardee. That's what it reminds me of, adult Chef Boyardee. But it's really good. Everyone likes it. I said, well, it's enough. If I don't have to cook tomorrow, I mean, it's Friday. You
Right.
guys get the leftovers. There's nuggets and stuff in the freezer. Can I have a day off?
I'm gonna make I guess it's the TikTok spaghetti. So that's the next thing.
Yeah, she's supposed to
Yeah, I gotta
tell
send
me
it to
about
you.
that.
I keep forgetting. But I'm gonna send it to you. I don't know if my kid's gonna like it, but see, there you go. It's like that's gonna be a gigantic waste of money if they don't like it. So
Yes, I know. It's like you want to
is,
try new
I
things,
just
but
have to make a small portion and just see how.
yeah. Normally, when you make a small, they love it, and then make it bigger. And it's like, oh, it goes to waste.
Oh, did you see that?
It's raining, so I don't know if it's my connection or what, but it's rain. It started raining.
Oh, well, we won't be able to be on as long as we wanted to because we wanted to make up the time for our loss, but
Yes,
try to do what we can, you know. And
yes,
then
the
next
weather.
week we'll just have to make up
Yes,
whatever we
you
don't.
can
But
post
there's
the
been a lot going on, like in the whole social web with TikTok and talking about controversy with it.
Yes, I heard it was on TMZ. I don't know if I sent it to you yet, but they said it was all talk. Like they're trying to make the US is trying to make itself look big and bad, but they're really not going to shut it down.
Okay.
They just wanted the inside information, like this information that China wasn't giving them.
Hmm.
It was like forcing their hand trying to get
Okay.
that information. So we'll see.
If that's true, right. I really
Hmm.
hope that they don't get rid of it because it's some useful stuff. It's a lot of good stuff. It's a lot of good community building and teaching people other skills and cross referencing information. I like that part of TikTok, but
Yes.
there's some bad parts and they do need to kind of like clarify the whole deal with the children as far as
Yes.
being able to access inappropriate stuff. That kind of thing is rampant in there, and I
Yes.
really hope they get a hold of that.
They did change the community guidelines when I got on this morning. It said new community guidelines. I think now they're going to do like what YouTube does when you have a video and it seems to be adult content. They're going to make it adult content. Like a child will
Right.
not be able to see that, which I think is good because you do have little kids on it, even though it says 13 or older. Some parents are just going to let the kids do it. And if you don't have it set right, they might end up down a rabbit hole and find something. So it's good. I think they should do that. Put limitations, put blockers on it.
Yeah, even if the kids get through, it's not going to be like easy access. So
Yes.
I really hope that they make some barriers, keep some kids away from the dangerous parts of it.
Yes. Especially the ones that really don't need it and
Hmm.
it that can go too far or they don't know fantasy from reality. They look
Right.
at it and they think this is what people are really doing because they see real people.
Hmm.
So
The
it's like,
main
oh,
thing
this.
is a lot of kids don't have any kind of parental guidance. So if you don't have anybody like monitoring you and you're at
Mhm.
that age where you're very impressionable, it's going to be hard for anybody to create a social network that's safe because there's so many kids out here that don't have any kind of guidance in that area.
That's true. And these kids are so smart. They know how to go through different channels to get to different ways. And you're like, well, how'd you know how to do this? How'd you know how to do that? And it's like, oh, that was easy.
Right. Even with me being a little bit of social, a little bit of savviness I have in the technology space, my son, he's more technologically savvy than I am. And then I
Mm-hmm.
also have to be on top of the fact that he's learning every day at school, coding
Yes.
and something new, some new technology. These are things that I'm not learning anymore. So you constantly got to be on top of your job. You got to be on top of your children. You got to be on top of trying to get yourself ahead, like constantly learning. It's a never ending cycle. So in that case, like we keep saying, how you gonna live a soft life? Ain't no soft life.
It's not. It's not. You're gonna be on your toes, Lord God, for the next umpteen years because you got to stay on top. I mean, those who have
Right.
children that special needs and they be out there a little bit longer, they take a little bit longer to mature. So it's like now your job is even more
Right. And then when they
intense.
do mature, who's to say you still gonna be savvy? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If they mature when you like ready to call it a day with this
Mhm.
technology stuff, then what?
I know. You think about TikTok. Imagine what they're gonna have in 5, 10 years. I would have never thought anything about TikTok. But you know what? They did get rid of the Vine, and here came TikTok. So
Oh yeah, that's true. Well,
you know,
it used to be like Periscope used to be big too.
hmm
It
and
just
Tumblr and all that.
disappeared. Right.
Yeah,
So
so
things are
maybe,
constantly changing.
yeah,
I really hope they invent something on the American side that's similar to TikTok
they
because that'll
did.
like ratify a lot of this.
It's called the Clapper.
Oh Lord.
All the other generation of
Are they
TikTok
moving?
are going to the Clapper,
Okay.
and they're trying to get us to come over there. And I'm like, the kids aren't talking about it, so I don't know. Is
I
that
don't
like the
know.
geriatric side?
Yeah, and then they had this. It was a black Facebook deal. What was it called? I joined it and I never actually tried it out, like stayed on it long enough. But people would constantly send me messages and I would get notifications, but it just never
Not,
stuck. Oh my
not
God.
Black Planet.
It's recent.
Recent. I think they were trying to redo Black Planet again too.
Oh my God. They didn't do enough damage while they were here.
remember, remember, we were like there. Black Planet.
Yeah, we had what was it? Black Planet and then what's the other one? Mm,
There's one after that. Yeah. See, and then we
can't
had
even remember.
the AOL chat rooms and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I guess hey, the stuff that would go down in them chat rooms.
There was enough. Now it's going down on social media, in the
Hmm.
DMs, and in the
Yes,
basically public,
yeah, basically, because you
in
think
the
about it, we
live.
really yes, because we didn't have live then and all that other stuff. So you just chatting with a person, and
Hmm.
then you would send them a picture, but it wouldn't be like them you seeing them right there and action. So
Right.
it's come a long way.
I know. But I like being able to get the information, the tea, and
Hmm.
like if you following celebs and stuff, you get like right when it happens, you're getting the information now. It used to be like you just days later and then you would
Hmm.
get different stories and it's not the truth, but now it's like they have to go back and fix what they already released
Hmm.
just to make it more appeasing to the publicist.
And
So
then with their lives too, it gives you like an intimate moment with them to
yeah, but
really
it
get to
makes you
see who
not
they
like
are.
them anymore
Oh yeah, some of them.
because you used to be all fanning and now you're like, oh, they just regular people. They not even different, they nothing special about them.
Mm-mm. They're just regular smuggler. It's got a few extra coins in their pocket.
I know when we were teenagers, this is before social. We ran into Tyson Beckford, and my friends just went absolutely nuts
Hmm.
in the village. They acted a fool, like, and I'm just standing at my car, like, okay, this is just a man, and he's not a superhero. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
god. I mean, they went nuts, but nowadays you look at that, and even knowing what we know now, what you were saying about him,
Yeah.
just an example, it just makes you like, okay, was it all worth it?
Mm. No, no. When I ran up to Ed Lover, he swore up and down I was going to run and scream. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I saw you. I acknowledged you. I head nodded. He head nodded back. But I'm not going to sit there and scream and holler and swoon all over you. And you were with a lady. So how would that look?
Right. Oh, Tyson was with a lady.
Oh, Tyson don't care.
My
Tyson wants
friend
it.
didn't care.
Tyson wants that. He's expecting that.
I see. I mean, I would. They were like, "You don't like him?" I'm like, I'm a fan. He's a great, model, but I've seen other guys that look just as good. I'm not about to come out here and wash his feet like they saw Jesus, girl. I was like, whoa.
Hey,
But it's a little bit much for me. I
yeah.
kind of like the social, like you can see them on live. You can kind of see them in their element. Get little tips and tricks. It's
Hmm.
all good, but it gets a little intrusive. It really does.
Yeah. No, it can at times, and people demand so much out of you at times, and it can get tiring. And you want to you don't want to be a people pleaser at all times because then you can't get the mental health breaks that you need and clarity that you need because you
Right.
constantly trying to please them and in reality who's trying to please you.
Hmm. It's true.
So yeah.
Yep. And you just have to create these little pockets of soft life in your week.
Hmm.
Be like, okay, I got a 2 hour window that I'm just gonna focus on getting my hair done, um,
Hmm.
taking my doing my self care, um, facials, mask, whatever the case may be. Even if it's just even
Hmm.
if you don't have time to go to the nail salon, you could do a little self manicure,
Hmm.
like I do press ons or whatever the case may be. Something small to acknowledge yourself and to keep yourself up. I know a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, you got to remain doing the same thing you did when you first started the relationship." But is it really possible at all points? Like for instance, this last past week, I was in the hospital, and I mean, I'm sure I wasn't my normal self, but by the time I got back to my normal self, we were back in the work mode. So
Hmm.
it's like you gotta make so many alterations to your
Hmm.
normal life in order to keep things afloat. So
Yes,
gotta
because
be
these jobs
realistic.
yeah, you do, because these jobs don't care that you were in the hospital,
No.
and then you might need a couple more days just to make sure that you're on the up and up. Nope, you're out. Let's go. And
Yeah.
your kids either. It's like,
And your spouse, I mean, it depends on what space they are and who you marry. You might end up having to deal with whatever they dealing with at the time on top of it. So
mm-hmm.
these side chicks don't care about your feelings either.
No, no. It's like some men hear the doctor say, she can go back to doing what she needs to do, and they go, oh, good, and they just like drop the ball and here you go.
Hmm. That's true.
And when you say, I'm not feeling good, this and this, and they look at you like, well, I went to work, and I'm like,
Oh my God. And my perfect thing I heard, which I need to add in here, but I don't know if I'll be able to. If not, I'll like try to add a link. I heard a TikTok where somebody was talking about this soft life thing, and I might have sent it to
mhm.
you, where the girl was saying it's not really for black women.
Yes,
It's
you
more
sent it to
of
me.
if the terminology really fits for white women who were part of the feminist movement, and
Mhm.
they have created another avenue for them to switch back into their feminine role, which totally, like, it just ignores the fact that we are still working through the feminine through the feminism of the 70s. We've been working through that. We've been working through all of these changes they made to the work, to the family life.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been working, and we're still going to remain working even when this soft life thing is over. So
Yeah,
it's really not for us. And I
it's not.
mean, we've given you every example how it's not really. It's
No,
not.
you. No, it's
So
not.
I agree with that 100% wholehearted. The feminism and the feminist movement
It
wasn't
was for
really meant
them.
for us.
No, it wasn't meant for us.
Yeah, they kind of try to add us in there on the sneak to say
But
that it was for all women, but it's
but
really just for some women.
because we were already working when they weren't working.
Right.
Very rarely did you find a woman of color that was a stay-at-home mom,
Hmm.
unless they were married and their husband had a decent amount of money coming in. If they worked at a factory or something like that, and they really were bringing in enough money to really provide. But even then, sometimes you would have your mom, by the time the youngest went to kindergarten or preschool, she was working in the school cafeteria, or she was a crossing guard, or she got a job as a secretary at the school where she was working the same hours that all the kids were going. So she was in the house, out the house, and in the house at the same time as the children. So it really did not provide the work field, which gave her a lucrative amount of money, but she was still there helping. So it's like we weren't in corporate America. You barely can get in corporate America. And when you do, you have to fight so hard to stay there. And now you
Yeah.
want to bring y'all back to where you were before, when you wanted to stay in the house, because it looks good to those women, but it's not. And when they get there and they see it, or you know what they do, they time out their kids right. The one lady
Right.
told me, she said you have to have kids every 4 years apart. So by the time you had the first one to the last one, you can't go back to work. And I was like, huh? She's like, yeah, every 4 years. And then by the time the one gets to go into preschool and kindergarten full day, then the older ones have football, basketball, soccer, this, that, gymnastics. So then you really can't do it all. You can't work and do all that. I'm like, okay, I guess you got a game plan down. All right. So I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
if we, were more strategic, I guess we could get away with it. But honestly, it's not easy for our men to get the jobs. It's not easy for our women to get the same jobs. And just
mm,
when we start to get more lucrative positions now because of the equity and inclusion deal, it's like you want to switch the roles up now because it kind of it's given sneakily like they don't want us to kind of come up
I
and
don't think they
take
do.
those jobs.
Yeah, I don't think it. I think they see,
Yeah, a challenge.
and I think they see how smart we are. We're not dumb.
Industrious. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're like,
Okay,
oh,
yeah, let's switch the model. Let's switch
mm-hmm.
the whole model. And now, okay, now we talking about, it makes you a better woman if you're feminine and you're not all industrious and you're not competing with the men for the higher salaries. Now you're competing to be the best soft life woman, the best, stay at home mom, whatever the case may be. They changing it all. And I mean,
But
like, it
yeah,
never works out for us because even if we staying at
mm,
home, it's still going to be more
yeah,
of a work situation than it is going to be uh
a soft
sit
life.
back and do nothing.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's like the battle of the. I made the most cookies, and I volunteer here, and I do this,
Hmm.
and I do that, and what do you do all day? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so you do laundry, and you go to the stores and do that. Like, well, you only have a small amount of windows where you can get everything done, and I have to do stuff for
right.
myself, and doctor appointments and stuff like that. So, I really don't have the access to it. And if I got to get home by this time, so it's like you guys that, and I wish, and maybe a little bit of jealousy. I wish I could have a nanny or a babysitter that could help get the kids off the bus, because I think it would make a lot easier if I had someone there to give the extra hands. And I never had it. So yeah, kudos to you girls that were able to do it. I'm so happy. I wish I was able to do it. Maybe next lifetime I'll be able to do something like that. But I really
Mhm.
wish, because I think it would make a lot easier. Like my husband's old boss, his wife had a night nanny. So the nurse would come in when it was time for her to go to sleep. and would stay with the baby all night long. So she didn't have to get up and feed the baby. She would pump, have the bottles ready, or sometimes if the baby wanted the breast, she would wake up to have the breast and she'd go back to sleep, and that was it. And I'm like, wow, that must have been nice.
Yeah.
And
sometimes even when us as Black women, even if I have the resources to do all that, it's kind of frowned upon.
mm-hmm.
So it's like you got to deal with that stigma, oh my gosh, y'all got that much money to just throw around, and then we got people out here starving, and
Because I think that's jealousy.
yeah, it could be, but then I'm just saying it's just the community. Like it just everybody's not doing good. Then if you're doing extra things that are out of the norm for your culture, then
Mm-hmm.
you got to deal with a lot of stigma. And that's some things that the other races don't have to deal with because it's become normal. They've normalized it.
Yeah, they have, because she was a woman of color, but she had money. She came from money.
Mm-hmm.
So when she said she lived growing up, they had nannies and different things like that. So it was like that was normal to you. So what was normal to you, you're going to then do yourself.
Right.
Whereas us, we didn't have that. Big
Mm-hmm.
mama took care of the kids and stuff like that. So it wasn't like, and she was only do that because your mama had to go to work.
Right. Because I know certain things I do now, you just getting somebody to come and clean for you and getting somebody to come in and do certain tasks for you. You might just be a task rabbit. It's just the fact that it's the technology that some people don't understand kind of gets looked at like you doing too much. So you really got to overcome a lot of that. You got to ignore people. You got to just do what you got to do to make it work. I'm all for keeping your sanity.
Yes, yes. No, you have to. If you need a day to yourself to check into a hotel, just even for the night and just to sleep with nobody interrupting you, just so that you can have a sane week the next week, then it's good. My dad used to do that for my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Let her check into the hotel, and she would be there for a couple of days or overnight just to try to give her a break because it was becoming overwhelming. And
Right.
I think men should do that, and even women sometimes. If he needs a break, then allow him to have the break because they need it too at times. I think. I
Oh
think we
yeah.
overlook them.
It don't even have to be going out. It could just be. Uh oh.
They're in their little element.
Here comes my soft life killer.
That's what we're gonna call them, the soft life killers.
Yeah, for real. She changed her mind. But anyway, this has been a good conversation. It's been very
Yes.
enlightening and I enjoyed it. I definitely have some things to think about. And I really
Yes.
want us to take into the account of the fact that, it's so different for everybody. Every perspective is different.
Mhm.
Everybody staying home is not going through the same thing. Everybody living the soft life is not living it the same way. And everybody being a wife and a mom is not going to have the same luxuries. So you can't
Mhm.
generalize anything. You
No.
can't put anything in a box. There's no box for this thing. It's just
Mm.
however it works for you is how it works for you. And you got to make it do what it do.
Yes, it's a
Really.
bowl of marbles, all
Mhm.
different.
Yep. So until next week, we enjoyed this so much.
Yes.
And please leave us some questions below. Anything that you would like to see in future videos, make sure we let us know. We are very open to your suggestions. Any parting words?
Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.